Welcome to the Rapid Ranch. Today, this 1966 Mustang, that 289 small block. This customer, amongst many things, he wants to put VintageAir in this car. And I know some of you are also thinking of doing the same thing, and maybe it's a little too intimidating for you. And when you open the box, it can definitely be intimidating. So let's go over here to the box. This is a kit for the 66. This was, I don't know if I'm saying this right, it was the complete kit. The upgraded deluxe control panel and whatnot. So this came with all of it. The only boxes that weren't checked were kind of like a polished compressor and whatnot. But this is all what comes, and yes, this could be intimidating to a lot of people. There's a lot of good instructions in here, and I will get all this out on the floor so you can see it. This one, it has the bracket and the hardware for the compressor. This has got the condenser in here. I'll open that up. It's got all the hoses, the dryer, fittings, brackets, more lines. There's another line in here. It's got it all. So this car is factory heat only. And there's the control panel, there's the box, all this old school factory stuff. So all this is coming out and getting modern stuff in it. Plus the fuel system to get it running right. It's got some leaks. So I figured I'd make a video on this car about the VintageAir, because the first one I ever did was very intimidating. I mean, you open that box, and if you've never done AC stuff or you don't do AC stuff, it is intimidating. I thought I'd make a video of this installation. So I'm going to get the camera set up and start taking off. Well, before I get too far ahead of myself, there is one thing you run into with these. So this car was, I'm pretty sure, factory power steering. This is where the compressor goes, and it has the bracketry to bolt right here. Now, a lot of the ones I've done before did not have power steering, so it is like a bolt-on thing. You bolt the bracket on, get your belt going, done. Within this video, this needs to get torn apart so the condenser and the dryer and the brackets and hoses can get in here, and then the heater box and all that motor, all that's going to come off. I'll get these braces out of the way, at least on this side. It just makes it a lot easier. But the main thing I'm going to start is this. This is what the compressor consists of, the kit. It's just this bracket that's going to mount right to the head, a couple spacers, 6 long bolts, 3 short, some nylon lock nuts, and some washers. Yeah, let's go get it put in. One thing I was looking at when I had this in is how, as I just showed, the compressor's high and tight up there. And I just threw this factory bracket back in for the power steering, and it's way out here. This is here. I think they'll be able to clear each other. Now this bracket, I'm going to modify. Move this. I'm going to modify this bracket by cutting it out to where the compressor bracket can drop down into place. Now this is going to get cut off too, but this will get welded to this bracket, you know, when it's in the car, because everything's going to mount through here into those two holes that this bracket already had. But I don't want to, I'm not going to use this bracket because this extra thickness will push the bracket of the compressor out. So this has to go away. So what I'm going to do is cut this off and make basically, move my ass over here, basically make a notch out to where this bracket, the compressor, fits in here. And then I'll probably weld them together as one piece. I will, before I weld it, I'll make sure that it's able to come off of there. And then this bracketry and bracing, I might, you know, this braces the back of the power steering pump. I might have to make like a bracket that comes up and holds it because this will go away. But I think I'm going to utilize this, a little bit of cutting, a little bit of welding, and this will work, mount that pump right where it was and still get the compressor in here. There might be a kit to do this. I don't know. I don't care, but this is the way I'm going to do it. Don't judge me. I'm doing it anyway. So let me make some measurements, start some cuts. And this is the bracket before it's painted, and this is what I came up with. Notched everything so it fits through the bolt and the slider or sleeve, whatever. Bolts to the water pump, everything. It all bolts in the factory position. Welded it together. I think it came out pretty dang good. That's pretty awesome. So I'm going to get it painted and then get it put on. And now we have a factory positioned power steering pump and an aftermarket compressor. Now that the bracket's done for the Mustang, it's drying. The paint is drying, so I'm going to wait to do that and put it in. Actually, I have a new fuel pump coming too, so I think I'm going to wait till that gets here. Should be here in a day, and replace that because I have all this room before I put this bracketry on. Get that in, new hoses, new filter, get that straight, and then I'll bolt all this in. So the next thing I'm going to do is the front. Get the condenser in here, the dryer, some of the hard lines that feed their way from the front here into the engine bay. So I gotta take this grill off and get stuff out of my way and start getting this mounted. So that's step number 2 for me. just roughly putting this together with this latch in here, because it does come with a template to cutting these holes. It's hokey, I don't like it. I can get them a lot better myself. If you're not good at doing this type of stuff, by all means, use the template. But, so one hole is gonna go through here, and one hole, as this is recessed, it's gonna go through there, and the piece is gonna make a 90, which is this piece. So it's gonna come from the inside here into this fitting. And the other one, as I showed on the bench, is gonna go around and it's gonna pluck through here somewhere. So real quick, I'm gonna get this kind of set where I want it and just snug the bolts, nothing tight. I want this sitting back where it's gonna be. That bottom bolt that you have to fish through the condenser and this upright is a pain in the butt to get. That's okay. And I'm not gonna use any power tools on this, I don't think. Just to be safe. Another thing to watch for is the 4 bolts that mount this radiator. One on top, one on the bottom, one on top, one on the bottom. They protrude right here, especially these top ones. Most of the time the stock ones are too long, and if you tighten this condenser down, it'll push into them bolts because they stick through here, and you'll pop a hole and you'll ruin it. Take those 2 upper bolts out right away. Leave the lower ones, they're good enough. You're not really too close to them, but as you're tightening this in, keep an eye on the bottom ones. You don't want them to get anywhere near stabbing through this. And on these uppers, I'm either gonna get shorter bolts or I'll put some spacers on the back to pull the bolt out so it doesn't come through so far and damage stuff. I'll try to get a shot of that, of how tight it is in there when I'm done getting this in here. But, you know, this is where this is gonna go. Like I said, get most of this finger tight, but enough to where I can move it. That bottom one, it's in all the way, finger tight. This is where this is gonna sit. Okay, this should be the last time this is getting put in. So I got the bottom mounted with this brace. It's just sitting there loose so I can wiggle this back and forth. See if I can show you this over here. So I got my holes cut, one there, one there. They come with these nice gaskets that are gonna, grommets I should say, they're gonna go in there. I want this able to be movable so I can get this through there, get it tight and whatnot. The other one, let me set you down, is going to be this line, which is gonna go through there, but that's easily, I can get to it right here and whatnot, even when this is steady, and I can put the hood latch on. But this one, I wanna be able to rock this back before I put it on. So I'm gonna do this one first. First thing, remember, gotta put your O-rings on there and put a little bit of the mineral oil supplied in the kit, or peg oil, if that's what you got on the shelf. So we're gonna put this in here, get the grommet into the place it's gonna need to be. I think pushing the grommet from this side is gonna be easier, so let me get up here and fish this through. Careful and keep it clean. Okay, it's seated, so now the O-ring is all the way up against it. I'm not gonna tighten it with a wrench yet because I wanna be able to twist this a little bit, because in here it's sticking through, I wanna be able to go up and down. But at least it's seated to where the O-ring won't tear or you'll kink it into a funny position. So now I want to get this mounted where it's going to be so I can adjust this, tighten it, push the grommet in, and then work on the other line. So I will start with getting the hood latch back in. Okay, just finger tight. Because you'll be able to move it. To get this in here, you might need to shift this down. It's got slots. And get this into place. Remember, put your O-ring on with a little bit of mineral oil. I like to finger tight seat it so it can't be moving around in there and tear what you got going on with your O-ring. There it is. So both grommets are in to protect it from anything. Make it double check clearance, and then I get to tighten that one and this one. It's just loose for right now, but this is what they look like on the inside. Got that grommet, and this is where they go. I'm gonna probably make this one face perfectly straight because I'm OCD as heck, except for pointing the camera because I'm not pointing it in the right direction. But anyway, make these both face perfectly straight. Okay, and there it is. The front is put back together. The only changes you can see visually from here is this horn, that what used to be here, is now over here. And you see the dryer and a condenser down in there. And then on the inside, you got your two hard lines ready to go and plumb some lines. So the next, I'm gonna call that phase 2 of the way I do it. So the first was the compressor and the compressor bracket, which is finished, and now the paint is dry. But I'm gonna wait to replace that fuel pump to put it in because look at the axis I got there. That's amazing. And now the front end is put back together. Make sure the hood closes and latches properly and all this is good before you actually close her down because you don't wanna get stuck there. So the next thing, the lines are gonna come this way across the back of the engine bay and go over here. Passenger side of the firewall. There's 4 bolts that hold this blower motor in for the heater. And then you got the heater core, that's a new one. Heater core, heater hoses that go inside. So there's gonna be some modifications here. And yeah, because there's gonna be a valve, if I remember correctly, on the outside that when you're using the air conditioner, it closes off the flow of the hot coolant going through the heater core. And in the winter, when you open, or when you kick the heater on, that valve opens. Yeah, so the hoses are gonna go in there. So probably the next thing, since we're kind of done out here in the engine bay for what we can do, is we're going to go inside the car. And what we're gonna do is pretty much gut all that heater out of there. I'm gonna take the glove box out too because the new blower assembly that goes in there, it takes up some of the real estate here, and VintageAir is kind enough to supply a new inner that is a little less, it's more shallow, but you still have a box. So we're gonna do that. So anyway, yeah, gonna get all this heater stuff taken out. Gonna get this control panel for the heater and the fresh air vents removed. Get everything out of my way, and then we're gonna do the firewall thing that has all the hoses through it, and then mount the blower box up in here. So let me show you what all goes under the dash. Okay, this is box number 3. This is the interior stuff. So they give you plenty of ducting. This bigger stuff is for all the vents on the left and right side of the car and center. This smaller stuff is gonna go to the window defrost, if I remember correctly. This stuff, this is your glove box. I'll show you more once it's all out of the package. This is your more shallow glove box. These plates, you know, these Mustangs, they have the mechanical pull levers for fresh air vents that kind of blow air out under the dash. These are to cap those off. A couple other plates. This stuff is bracketry to hold this. This is going to be a thing that where all the hoses come through the firewall that I'm going to connect to for the compressor and all that. So there's all that. This is the actual blower box right here, and I'll show it more once it's unpackaged. This is the side that's going to be facing you in the car. Blower motor. This is where some lines go to. All your actuators. This is the back side. Again, lines. All these are going to come together and go out of the firewall. If I could learn to point a camera, it'd be better. There's the controller's brain right here. Here you got some other stuff like the drain line for condensation, so it drips out on the ground, hose clamps and whatnot. Here's your wiring harness with relay. Very simple wiring to do. More hard lines. This is stuff that's going to go through the firewall and whatnot. This one stays up by the box, so that's why they got some fittings on there. And then my customer with this one, we opted to go with the deluxe package that has the digital deluxe controller. Ooh, shiny, brand new and beautiful. So this is all digital. It has its wiring harness in there too. And this goes right in place of the factory one. And it looks almost factory, but even better. It's got a little blue light right there that lights up when the AC is on. And these work great. I've used them a lot. This is all made out of metal. There ain't no plastic in this. Even the bracket. This is a good, heavy, good piece. VintageAir did good with this. So, I mean, that's it. Again, gonna go get all the heater stuff out of the car and then get this unwrapped and take the glove box out and start putting stuff together. Well, alright, it's time for air ducts. The kit, it comes with a couple options here for the outsides here and here. They give you these pods with these vents, nice and shiny, feel kind of heavy, that are going to mount up in here, and one over there. And then they give you an option for the center one, and this is, some of these cars have a center console. So it comes with individuals, so you can put one on each side of the center console, or it gives you a double middle, which we're going to utilize because we don't have a center console. And I just kind of like how this is going to look. Either this has chrome vents that go in it too. So these just get screwed up to the metal here. Make sure there's no wires in your way when you're doing it. Don't short anything out. Don't be stupid. And okay. They already got little pre-drilled holes here. They got a bigger hole on the bottom so you can fit your screwdriver through there. And you're just gonna screw them on up in there. And they give you the hardware with this and everything. So I'm gonna get these mounted, see how good they look, and then I will start running the hose from the blower to all of these. Now we're getting somewhere. All the ducting is in. All the vents are in. Ducting's ran where I want it. For the defrost, for all the vents. Got it all up in there. It is tight. And you got to watch out. There's the wiper motor. And the linkage that goes back and forth is in there. And get really close to that top duct that goes over to the driver's side. But I got it all in, and now it is time for this. The pretty piece. I put the bracket back behind the dash already. It has a lock nut that mounts it right here. I put the harness on it, and the other end of this harness is going to go up into the other port on that ECU. So once I got this in, I'll run the wire through, plug it in, and this is essentially done, minus putting the flat 4-way flasher and whatnot in the glove box back in. Oh yeah, look at that. Beautiful. And now that that's in, I can finally put this back in. Oh boy, look at that. Beautiful. I'll wipe all my grubby fingerprints off. Just like factory, almost. I'm gonna call that done. When it comes to the pressure lines or the AC lines, you have a -6 size, a -8, and a -10. The -6 has the clamps already put on it. It's already cut to length and everything. The -8 and the -10, you have to crimp the ends on yourself. So let me think if I remember how this goes. The -10, where the compressor will be, the -10 will go from the compressor back to the bulkhead over there. And then the other side will go, the -8 will go from the compressor to here. Yeah. Yeah, that's how that, yep, just like that, exactly as I said. Compressor to here, compressor to there, and then this one runs to here. Made sense? Okay, good, as long as we're all on the same page. So just quickly, I got this one finger tight. This is where it's gonna go. Since the AC ones are on the bottom, I'm gonna wait to do the heater lines. These are for the heater core, just because they're on top and they'll be in my way tightening these. So once I get this line in here and run it around the back, tied up away from anything moving, like the throttle pedal, anything hot, and get them put into place, I'll finalize that, then I'll do the heater lines that come up here. Another thing, this is that heater control valve. This is going to be in one of the heater lines that come here. It's going to be in the feed, and this is the plug for it here. So that goes around here somewhere. A lot of times on these Mustangs, I like to mount it on the bottom of this brace here, but just the way things are going in this one, I don't know if I like that. It could go here, you know, because line has to go to there, the line has to go to there. So this could be a nice little transition into there, but that'll be one of the later things that I do. So basically, it's AC lines, heater hose lines, get the compressor mounted, and then draw it down on vacuum for a night, and then charge this bad boy up. Then I'll refill the coolant, get all that good, and we're almost here to a running air-conditioned vehicle. So the pre-made line that came in the kit, I just got finger tight on here. And the next one is gonna be this large one. Let me take this cap off. Holy moly. Got that on there tight. Okay. And this is the 90 fitting they give you. I already coated that with mineral oil. Just putting it on here right now for mock-up purposes. So it's going to come up. I wanted it to go under this smaller line, but the transmission dipstick's in the way, so this is going to come up above it. At least there's enough clearance for the heater hoses, so we're okay there. Just want everything to play nice. So this will come up and around, and I'll make that line. Okay, this is the larger of the lines. This is the -10 line. This line goes to the compressor. This is the last thing to open up. Remember, these are all sealed with pressurized nitrogen. So this one should make a little pop. There you go. And they're nice enough to put O-rings on here for you, but make sure you lubricate it with the mineral oil. As I've said a million times. And that one is going to go on here. It's finger tight for now. There we go. Okay. Not going to tighten anything yet till then. So next. So I'm going to get it where I want it, make sure everything's good, bring it down to this line, and I'm going to make a mark on it, and I'll pull it all out and go get it over there and crimped. Okay, off camera, I kind of wrapped up all the hoses and whatnot for the AC system. So everything's made, tightened, and in place for over here, here. I ran the wiring for the compressor to the binary switch up through here. Ran the wiring under these lines so you don't really see it. Same with the one that goes all the way back there. I did the heater hoses, brought them back there, put the heater valve in it right here that turns on and off the flow of hot coolant into the heater core when you have heat on versus AC on. I did the wiring. Brought the wiring in a nice sheathing here. I'm going to get a little R-clamp and screw it into here so it stays nice to the side wall here, and that comes up here. These will hook to the positive cable when it's there. The grounds are there. So we essentially are done for the AC system. The only other things to do now is change out that pulley, which is what I'm going to do next. And I got to pull the radiator. So I drained it last night. I got the hoses off. I got to unhook the transmission cooler lines off the bottom, and then we're going to pull this bad boy out because the bolts, as you can see right there, you can't get out because the radiator's in the way. And boy, now that I'm looking at this and seeing it here, I guess the mount is about here. Let's hope I can pull it out enough so once the radiator is out, it doesn't hit this condenser for the AC. Let's hope about that because normally that condenser was not there. Let's hope I didn't shoot myself in the foot, but things happen working on old cars. So I'm going to get the radiator out, get that pulley in, get the radiator back in, fill it up. So this is done. And then I'll just do the couple of things I need to do. I got to get belts sized for this. I got to make my hard line for the fuel here. And then we can probably start this up for the first time in a while. And then we'll put the system under a vacuum, which I'm about to do, and just leave it overnight. And if it passes with no leaks and it holds vacuum overnight, I will add, I think this system is 1.8 pounds of 134 Freon. And this guy should have nice, cool, air-conditioned vintage Mustang.